With the almost 2-month-long election exercise finally getting over in India, the Pakistan government is considering options on how to resume talks with India. Pakistani government is actively considering appointing a national security advisor to revive back-channel diplomacy with India. Since assuming the office in August last year, Prime Minister Imran Khan repeatedly reached out to India for the resumption of peace talks on all outstanding issues. But India has made it clear to Pakistan that terrorism and dialogue will not go hand in hand. The likely appointment of the NSA is meant for reviving the back-channel diplomacy with India to sort out some of the pressing issues between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. In the past, the two countries often used back-channel through the NSAs, or the National Security Advisors, to prepare the ground for any kind of talks. And in the year 2015, Pakistan's NSA Lieutenant General Nasir Khan Janjua and his Indian counterpart Ajit Doval were instrumental in breaking the ice. Pakistani government was likely to appoint a retired military official as a national security advisor, according to sources, and the relationship between the two neighboring nations currently is the way it is after Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed terror group attacked a CRPF convoy in Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir on the 14th of February, killing 40 soldiers. Amid mounting outrage, the Indian Air Force carried out a counter-terror operation hitting what it said was a Jaish-e-Mohammed training camp in Balakot in Pakistan, deep inside, on the 26th of February. Now, back to the exit poll results, which indicated a clear victory of the BJP-led NDA government. And the Indian markets, the stock markets of India, are giving a big double thumbs up to those exit poll results. Now, the benchmark indices of the Indian stock markets, the Nifty and the Sensex, posting their best gains of the year 2019. In the opening session of trade, we have my colleague Mohammed Saleh joining us on this broadcast with more. Saleh, talk to us. It's been a bumper opening for India's stock markets this morning, up 900 points on the bounce. Talk to us, where is it now?
That's exactly correct, Krishna Kumar. This is a bumper opening for Sensex a day after the exit polls were announced. The Sensex is right now trading well over 1,000 points. If I can give you the precise figure, it's trading at 38,962 points. This is the highest levels at which Sensex is in fact trading in this from the beginning of January, and this is driven essentially by market sentiment. Remember, markets in fact respond to any kind of news that comes in, and what we are looking at, because of this news that came through in the exit poll, that we can expect more of certainty, more of Modinomics, and that is exactly what has been in fact been reflected.
Right. And Saleh, it's not just the stock markets, isn't it? It's a combined effect that the currency markets are doing well. The Indian rupee has done rather well against the US dollar this morning as well.
That's exactly correct. You know, this again is something that is driven predominantly by sentiment, and the fact of the matter is, you know, when you have certainty, when you know a certain kind of economic policies are going to be followed, that also reflects on your currency markets as well. And let's also point out here, Krishna, about the kind of stocks that are doing well. You know, Adani Ports, that's in fact doing pretty well. Indiabulls Housing, State Bank of India, Ultratech Cements, Reliance Industries, HDFC, ICICI Bank. Across the board, across sectors, you have pretty much stock that is in the green. And this, in fact, you know, augurs really well. But it needs to be seen as to how long this rally will, of course, continue. Because remember, this is market reacting to the exit polls. The exit polls have predicted that the BJP government is coming back with a thumping majority. And this is a clear reaction to that, where the markets have given their big thumbs up. But wait for the results on the 23rd of May. If these exit polls translate into results, then you can, of course, see the Sensex going further higher up.
That's exactly what I was going to arrive at, Saleh. I was going to ask you that, because these 900 points or so is based on exit poll results, and it could. And analysts, many analysts across the board have said that exactly what you're telling us right now, which is wait for the 23rd of May, and all of this points to rather a good beginning, so to speak, when the new government takes charge on the 26th of May for the Indian economy and the Indian market and the Indian industry.
That's exactly correct. Now, on the 23rd of May, we'll have a much clearer picture as to who will in fact be ruling India. But at this point of time, just a word of caution here, Krishna, because markets, the way they move is driven predominantly by market sentiment, not necessarily by financial fundamentals. Now, what the market is reacting at is this positive, upbeat mood in terms of how they see will be India's economic policies. But the next government that will in fact come in, even if it is the Narendra Modi government, will have to contend with a lot of fundamental issues. There is agrarian distress, there is the issue of NPAs, that of course is a huge bit of an issue that they'll have to look at. But at this point of time, at the Dalal Street, the market looks very positive, the sentiment looks very positive, and that of course is what is being reflected with the Sensex trading at almost about 1,000 points. It'll also be very interesting to see, because remember, a lot of profit booking can also take place, because markets is a very uncertain business. You can have a huge rally on a given day, and then you may have the markets cool off the next day. So what is, of course, needs to be looked out for is what point will the markets close at 3:30 p.m. today? Will they still continue to be on the rise, or will it have come down to a certain extent? That, of course, needs to be looked at.
Absolutely fair point, Saleh. I maybe just got a little carried away. We were talking about the stock markets, where they're driven so much by sentiment. Sentiment is good on Dalal Street. That's the only piece of news I hear with this Sensex surge. And Saleh, I was just looking at the numbers over here. This morning, in 60 seconds, 3.2 lakh crores got added to market capitalization in the Indian stock markets. That was the kind of response that the stock markets at least gave. But there's a fair point over here. All the other concerns of the Indian economy remain, and the new government, whichever government takes charge post the 23rd, will have an uphill task, because we're staring at a situation where the economy could be plunged into a growth crisis, if I may. Right, and Saleh, thank you so much for joining us for this piece of news that we're tracking. As Saleh was rightly pointing out, 3:30 p.m., that's when we'll know what happened to the Indian stock markets for the day. But it's been a good beginning in the first couple of hours, and as we've been telling you, it's not just stock markets. The rupee too doing very well, and Sensex at 38,964, up nearly 3%, 2.8%, and Nifty as well, 11,715. The psychological barriers being pushed today as those who are trading on Dalal Street are seeing the possibility of a stable government. At least that's what the exit polls have predicted, and hence choosing to buy on the stock market and pushing the indices up. The bank Nifty particularly doing very well. All the banking stocks, all the big banking stocks, HDFC, ICICI, all of them doing well across the board in this morning's trading session. And this trading session will shut at 3:30 p.m. India time, and we're about a few hours away from that, and we'll have to see how the situation progresses.